Welcome back to my channel, guys. Today we're going to go over the reserve protocol. This is the top-down view of my assessment model, my model's predictions for whether or not it should be a good project. However, it does predict that it will be a good project. However, I didn't buy anything just yet. I am going to watch this one, and you'll get into why. You'll understand after I go over the project why I ultimately did not buy just yet. But it's on my radar now. It is a solid project, and hopefully this review will give you a good assessment of how to look at this project in the future, and like to see whether or not it'll perform. Now, just to get to go over the main points of why I didn't end up buying it. It's because there's a better competition. There's better projects. Because it's not like these are the three things. If it was all three of these checks, I definitely would have bought it. But it's not a low market cap. It's diluted market cap is around 7 billion, and and I look at diluted when the token supply is not released yet. So, and they're going to release a lot of the tokens right when they have mainnet, when there's hype. And I see this thing as being worth maybe 17 to, somewhere around 17 billion or to 20, or, it could go up to the 300s in the long run. But in the short run, when it first launches at mainnet, when it launches its mainnet, it will, they're going to release a lot of tokens, and so they're going to absorb all of that by those market forces. So their market cap will grow a lot, but you as a user won't be able to benefit from that. Whereas there's competitors that have already released most of their tokens, and so you have better chances of investing in their competitors. Their competitors will give more value to investors rather than this one, which will absorb all the value for the people who made this project. That's why. Okay, so I'll just go into it. But it does have a live niche, and it is early with social media. Not a lot of people are aware of the reserve protocol. So those are very bullish things right there. So, there is a chance that I will be wrong. So take that into consideration. So a summary of what this project does. This project is access to the US dollar as a stablecoin, but it will leave that dollar eventually in the long run. But, that's the long run, right? So they have basically offering a stablecoin for certain countries, okay? They launched in 2019. They have a dual token system. The RSR is what we were talking about for this video as a thing that we would be wanting to buy. Nothing here is investment advice. The RSR is a voting rights token. It has a burning mechanism and a minting mechanism. And they have captured some market share in Venezuela, Colombia, and Argentina. So they've captured those high inflationary environments. And that's the type of environment that they aim to serve. The RSV backed by, the RSV is their service provided token. It is pegged to the dollar. And in the future, it is planning to leave that. But for now, they are just offering the dollar as a mechanism for their, capturing of individuals as their market share. So it is a service. The services provided is just access to U.S. dollars, so that people in Venezuela can, use it in their app, send money to each other, etc. And they have captured some of that market. So the problem they're trying to solve is high inflation, to give people a reserve access. So how does this thing work? This is how the reserve protocol works. When the price of RSV goes above $1 on exchanges, the protocol sells newly minted or excess vault RSV to either tokenized assets or RSR, driving the price of RSV to exchange back down. So they sell our beloved token as well as assets to decrease that price and value. So if its services provided gets too hot, you could see how it could sell. It could sell some of this, or this is actually a bullish force. They'll create excess RSV, and they will buy, if the services get hot, the RS, I know this could sound confusing because these names, the RSR, the token we care about, can go up. So, so that's basically just the mechanism right there. It's just a basic explanation. When the price of RSV falls below $1, exchanges purchase RSV by selling off other, some of these assets, etc., or even our beloved RSR. So that could be a negative force for it. But here's the more important part. The thing that we're interested in is, like the stuff that will affect RSR, the thing we would like to invest in. So when, as a result of asset appreciation or transaction fees, the vault has accumulated, so they have a certain reserve ratio backing their service provided token, the RSV. They have certain assets that have a reserve ratio to back that token. If the reserve ratio gets too high, you can actually sell off some of those, and you could see some price appreciation of RSR, the thing we're looking at. The vault. Excuse me. Okay, so as a result of asset appreciation or transaction fees, the vault has accumulated excess RSV. They accumulate this excess RSV, which is a control mechanism that they sell the RSV in this vault. This is all controlled by smart contracts. The RSV accumulates RSV from the market. RS holders can purchase this with their RSR as part of stabilizing the price of RSV, which maintains the vault's ratio of assets and reduces the supply of RSR. What does this mean? What does this mean for us who are us plebes that want to make some money, right? The RSR value tied to the use of the platform. So the RSR is going to benefit from use of the platform after the mainnet is live. Now remember, this thing is not live. The mainnet is not live, so you are not getting the benefit of this right now. So RSR value tied to the use of the platform. The fees, reduced supply of RSR. Also, assets used for collateral may reduce the supply of RSR. This gives RSR exposure to an index of assets as collateral. So the assets that exist that this thing can give you access to are such things as tokenized commodities, currencies, tokenized securities, and probably cryptocurrencies in the future, So it has this index component to it, and you guys know how important I think index components are. So the way this thing would perform is like an index plus the platform growth. Okay, so it would be these two things, right? And so it's like a dividend in a sense. So that's very good. That means that this token will appreciate. It will grow in value as this platform is adopted. RSR may experience drop-in market if the index value of things drops too much, then RSR may actually drop in value. So that is something to consider as well. So you will get the downside of that index of things. So that's why it has that index-like component to it. But that being said, this index thing will not be that influential on price, in the long run, especially if they have a diverse set of assets. It will probably stabilize. So those are all things to consider. Okay, so that being said, let's just get into it. Okay, so I'll get into the whole summary at the bottom, and I'll just go over the details right now. So I do expect this thing to perform in the long run. I expect it to perform in the long run. I am going to wait, however, until, because I'm going to wait for the issuance of this thing to reach the 50% issuance, 50% supply to be released. That's what I'm going to wait for, and then it might be a good thing to invest in. And in fact, I would go ahead and say that I probably will invest at that point, so that's why I will keep watch of it. So let's just get more into these details. Future market excitement from price momentum more likely. I do expect that to be the case. Current awareness is low. That is a good thing. It probably will pick up awareness, and I'm fine with that. One of the reasons why is it's valued at $9 billion. I could see it at $18 billion, that's like a 2x, but that's not very attractive compared to what other projects are still available. But first marketing campaign, word of mouth marketing right now. That's one of their approaches. The team Twitter followers is low. The project follower Twitter's low. Now, these are very powerful forces, so I may be wrong. This thing might get excitement, right? So that is that. And the Telegram is neutral. It's about average for a project of this size. YouTube exposure is low, so it has this low awareness. That is something that may play into the future. But once again, I'll get into why I'm waiting to buy. I might be taking that risk and waiting to buy. Okay, so the major upcoming events, mainnet launch, okay? So they said it by end of year, so I don't even know if it's going to happen this year. Usually when developers put off, it looks like they're putting off mainnet and focusing on growing their users, which is fine because the mainnet is not that important to them acquiring market right now. The only thing that would be harmful to them taking this approach is they are centralized right now. When they launch mainnet, they will not be centralized. They will be trustless, okay? When they're trustless, that means no one can shut them down. Right now, they can be shut down by, some oppressive government. Some government can come in and shut them down. So mainnet launch by the end of the year. is something that is going to be one of the most bullish things for market cap. You will see the market cap grow. But that being said, they're going to release a bunch of tokens when that happens. So they're going to counter so the team is going to experience all the growth, and investors are not going to really see a lot of that. And there are some people that got in early with this project, and those individuals who got those low prices will also experience that growth in price, that value capture. The notes. AML, anti-money laundering compliance. These are some of the things they're working on. Banking relationships, U.S. regulations, app ability for RSR swaps to other cryptos. So like an exchange service. That's very good. Target countries with high inflation. That's what they're doing right now as far as upcoming events. So money needed to move price up decreases. I do think that there will be less money to move the price up in the future. Tokens on the sell side to decrease. I think that is the case. These are all the things that are causing me not to want to buy right now. It has performed as an average cryptocurrency for the most part. It's had average performance, which is not bad. That's 8x in 8 months. It's done right on the average right there. It does have dividend irrelevancy, so that is something to consider with distribution. That is why I'm going to buy this when it's 50% diluted. If it does have a huge spike in price, I won't buy. I'll just wait patiently, and then I'll buy right here. This is something that I do want to have a part of my portfolio in the longer run. Okay, but I'm willing to wait on this because of the fact that there's only 1/8 of the supply is released, and they're going to release all of that when there is the token goes mainnet, when the mainnet launches. So they're going to take advantage of the hype from that, and they're going to cash out, or they're going to make a lot of cash from that, and it's going to become community run. So this thing is circulating 1 billion market cap, but diluted 8 billion. I think that is overvalued for being something that's not launched. Once again, so that's why I'm not investing right now. But I do see it as being after its mainnet launches, and if they capture significant market share, it could be 16 to 32 billion. So you could see a nice 2x, but that's 2x means nothing to me because in crypto, I want 10x or more, 5x or more, because of the risks that we take in this industry. So that's just me. Now remember, it's entirely possible I am wrong. This project has some very bullish things right here. This is bullish to be on that fact that people are not aware of it that much. It's on the lower of the awareness scale. But that being said, I do think that it's not going to grow compared to everything else because of this huge release of tokens that's going to happen when they have mainnet. So they're going to capture, they are going to see a huge market cap increase in my opinion, but they're going to end up capturing all of that. It's not like investors right now could capture it unless they were staking and earning a lot, but that would be that. Now here is the thing, they do have a niche serving, and this is another powerful force. A lot of my indicators say that having a powerful niche open is very powerful. The finance app in Venezuela has 100K downloads, Argentina, Colombia. So they're going for these Spanish countries. I see them as the Spanish Terra, like Terra protocol. I think that eGold is like the European kind of protocol. So that is something to consider. So I'm bullish on that in that sense, right? So having a niche is also a very good thing for a project to have. You want something to have. You want your projects to have a niche. That's a very good sign. Token used for services and governance, absolutely, it is used for governance. It will also capture revenues in the support of fees. So getting fees from this makes it a dividend token. It captures the value of the platform. So that is very good. The RSR token is actually tied to the success of the platform. That's something we want to see. They have a huge market. The market for having a reserve currency is going to be very large. So that is bullish as well. Fees that burn tokens, they do have that mechanism, and they also, the team retains control through token control. But once again, there's going to have such a huge token release that that's the biggest reason I'm not investing. And the reason why, if they didn't have competition, I probably would just invest in them. But here's the reason why I'm saying that I'm not. It's because eGold has 3 billion. Right now, okay, so you look at these two market, right? You have eGold has a $3 billion market cap, and it's doing something similar to what this project's doing, as well as Terra, which is also fully diluted at 15 billion. So this one could 2x, right? So that means you could see a 2x of this in terms to catch up to Terra, but eGold is only at 3 billion. You could see eGold 3x. And that's why I'm actually focusing on buying eGold. because that one is undervalued compared to Terra and this one. And I do see eGold is offering many services that Terra is offering, as well as this project is not live, and it's not going to be live to maybe the end of the year. Now, they're capturing market share right now, but the project is not live. Terra is live. Terra does have their services, and so does eGold. eGold is closer to that. So that's another reason. I think their competition is just better. That's just my opinion. But there's that being said, let's take a look at some of their partners. I could be wrong. You have Peter Thiel and Coinbase Ventures investing in this project, and that is something to consider. Those people are better investors than I am, so I could be wrong. Something to consider. Evidence that the management is trustworthy, because I would say the management is trustworthy because they're vetted by such professional investors. And so I didn't need to dig too much in that. I did look into them a little bit, but usually I can trust who else is invested in something, so I didn't investigate too much into that, because when they're vetted like that, when they have strong investors like that, that means that they believe in it. Those people are a proxy vetting process. Okay, so team retains control through the token. That's true. Eventually, this thing will be run by the token. So long-term vision and strategy, this thing is, it's basically just making a world stable currency. That is their vision. We don't care about their goal is right now, not that relevant. Like, I looked into that. They didn't have, their clear mission statement is that, just helping people avoid this, hyperinflationary environment that the governments are making. Developer compensation, developer motivation. They have plenty of funds available because their tokens have not been sold yet. So they have a huge supply of tokens to accomplish all this. I see high value upgrades coming down the line, high services of value increasing. I expect that to be the case. So it is going to get more valuable market cap wise. But like I said, the team's going to capture all of that through that huge token release. Whereas there's projects like eGold where you can actually grow, like as an investor, you're going to get more capturing of the growth. Whereas this one, you're not. Governance aimed at capturing value for holders. The governance is a to be determined thing right now. They're leaning towards reputation scoring, and the token holders will vote on changes. So, that's something to consider. All of this stuff that I just Xing out right now, that's all irrelevant because it doesn't affect this project. So team has majority control through token. That's true. Eventually they will. As far as the team goes, they do have impressive achievements, but that impressive achievements is this project. This project is their first billion-dollar project. So, hey, it's a meta achievement. This thing is their accomplishment. They've reached the billion-dollar market cap. They've never had billion-dollar market caps before. The CEO hasn't. So, that's why I gave him a 7 versus better scores for other projects, because this project is meta success. He didn't have a billion-dollar startup before this, but it is still amazing that they accomplished a billion-dollar startup. So that is why I put them at a higher score. He is a serial entrepreneur, so that is something to consider about the CEO. Evidence of the team's ability to solve difficult problems. Matt Elder, technical officer, was an engineer at Google. Quixley, IBM, Linux Systems, and Charlie Smith, he worked for he made Bitcoin mines and things like that. So he has business sense with that. And they hired 3 software engineers in Q1. So, their team seems to be capable. So there's that. High value people will prioritize upgrades. I do expect that to be the case because they were a vetted process to ensure that. They were vetted by these investors, as well as eventually leading to the token controlling how the future of this thing works. They have word of mouth marketing, which is fine. I think that's actually a good strategy when I've seen many businesses succeed through a marketing strategy of this nature. And hence, that's why they have this low social media awareness, because they don't spend a lot on marketing, and so people aren't really aware of them. So that might be more bullish in the long run. I'm making you aware of it now. Feel free to invest if you think I'm wrong about the token issuance having such a negative force on this thing. Large business models that demand token to reflect their needs. I expect large businesses to buy this thing. I do, in the long run. I think that they will capture market share. I think, there's several different room for people to fit the reserve status type markets. This one's going for Spain or Spanish countries. not Spain, but Colombia, like Colombia and Spain and even some of the Middle Eastern countries. So they're capturing these hyperinflationary countries right now, and they are getting market share. As you can see, they have, in Venezuela, they already have 100,000 downloads. So they're starting to get market share. Once again, there's plenty of room for, this kind of market. But they are, they're growing, and, they're going to capture that market. So best of the competition, though, I don't think they are the best. I think eGold is the best, and that's why I started, you could even see my Patreon. This is one of the reasons I'm buying eGold. It's because even compared to Terra, I think eGold is better from an investment standpoint, but we'll see how that goes. I also am bullish on Terra. Terra is an excellent system, but I think as far as price appreciation goes, I think eGold is in a better position. As far as external transfer catalyst inhibitor, habitual, I think, it'll be somewhat sticky, meaning they'll keep their customers, but it's not going to be the easiest. But we'll see how that goes. I don't think it's going to be the most positive force for them. But not one of the biggest things to care about. Difficulty of internal transfer. May acquire market in high inflationary environment. So they are acquiring market. So they are getting internal transfer. They are acquiring. It's not a difficult internal transfer for those markets. They're serving markets where inflation is a problem. So they are capturing market share basically. And the difficulty of internal transfer, it's not that difficult because people are becoming more and more aware how to use their phones to pay for things. Project is easy to use, and more people using the project. I see that as being the case. These things are relevant while they're on Ethereum. So yes, they do have some positive price flows from being on Ethereum. And they will need to port into something like Polkadot or an interoperability protocol in the future if they want to be part of a DEX. And DEXs do help price performance because they pull in tokens into hodlers. People who become liquidity providers often take tokens off the market through that mechanism. Tokens per person to go down, I expect that to be the case. As far as the market cap per person, the money per person in diluted, it's kind of high actually. That's why I'm not super bullish on it. There's some there's some hints that it's overvalued from a diluted market. It's not overvalued, but I think of all of crypto is undervalued, right? But the way I evaluate these things is compared to other cryptos, not like like to dollar or gold or silver or something. It's like to other cryptos, which are performing extremely well. So my goal is to beat the average cryptos. This thing is going to perform, I think, like the average, at least performance, which means it's going to grow in value. But as far as capturing, the value of crypto growth, I think it'll just be an average performer. So something like along those lines. My goal is to beat that. Once again, but this is a strong project, and a lot of indicators show that it's strong. There's entirely impossible I'm wrong. I'm just providing this information in such a neutral way. Hopefully, you can do a good job at judging it, and seeing if you think that there's opportunity here that I'm missing, which is entirely possible. Okay, so mainnet launch in about 6 months, or but before the end of the year. That's what they said. I don't expect that. I never expect people to meet their deadlines when they're programmers because I've never seen it. So, and that being said, we don't know how long our bull market's going to last. I think our bull market might be over by the end of the year, and that's another reason why I'm not going to buy it. Because my conviction is not super strong on this. So I did not make an allocation size. Conviction is how much I believe what I'm saying. I think that here's what I will say. I do think it's a very strong project, but I'm thinking that its best growth is in the future. Okay, like this is a project I will accumulate in the bear market. I'm waiting for a bear market before I accumulate this because I think its timing is off. And that's just that, like I said, that could be wrong. The bear market, the bull market might last longer than we expect, right? But I expect the bull market to be over in 6 months, and that's why I'm taking these positions. Okay, so the overall pros. Smarter people than me have invested, such as Peter Thiel. The mainnet will contribute to RSR price performance. And a Coinbase listing soon. Oh, and by the way, it will probably have a Coinbase listing soon, so that could be bullish for the price. Maybe they'll do that to hype it up when there's mainnet launch, or who knows. Someone's going to take advantage of that. Insiders are going to take advantage of that, no doubt. But who knows when that's going to happen. That's been something that's been hyping around this project for a long time. As far as the cons, many of the tokens yet to be released, 80%. Governance is to be determined. Highly competitive field and late as far as mainnet's arrival is concerned, but they are still capturing market share. And it isn't that important for capturing market share that the mainnet launches. People don't care about what the back-end technology is. They only care about the service, right? But the risk of doing it that way is that you can be shut down. You're not trustless. Mainnet in Q3 or Q4, according to them. So that's late. I think the market cap, I think the bull market might be over by then. Diluted, priced as if already won market share. So, yeah, the diluted price is as if, like being an $8 billion evaluation is kind of high compared to its competition, right? It's high comparatively speaking, to eGold and Terra, which I actually would be more bullish on because those are live, running on a mainnet, and they're capturing more market share as we speak. I'm going to keep an eye on it, and I'm just more bullish elsewhere. Probably not going to, I'm thinking my strategy might be to invest in the bear market into this project when, this thing is the token, the RSR token is going to benefit from it being live, and it's going to have this dividend. It's going to have this dividend force when it's going to have this dividend force contributing to price a lot stronger in the future when they've captured the market share. So it'll probably do something like this, and that's when it's best to buy, and then it'll eventually have its growth from use. So that is my assessment of this. Feel free to think differently, think for yourself, and make judgments on your own. But that is my evaluation of a reserve rights token. And guys, I hope to bring you high value content in the future. Follow if you're interested. Look at my Patreon. I provide this information there before it reaches everyone else, and I put my personal trades into my Patreon as well. So and that's to help support the channel. All right, guys, I look forward to talking to you in the future. Good luck out there.